What's going on, everybody? This is Nick Lawson from Squad Sports. We're really excited to be supporting the Free Agent Friday series. A lot of great talent out there. Without further ado, this is the next free agent you should be signing with your sports team.
All right, we're back, and we're back and back and back again. We're at number 99 for Free Agent Friday. So I've got Blake Paris with me. How's it going, Blake?
Andrew, I'm doing great, man. I really appreciate this opportunity. Haven't been on Zoom in a while, so this is certainly refreshing. Been in the house, in the apartment way too long, so I'm looking forward to chatting it up today, man.
Zoom has been great. I mean, before COVID, I never hosted a Zoom call. And since then, I might lead the leaderboard on, Zoom host. So it's been great. It's good because now, it's a good way just to be able to see people when you're communicating, and especially since most of us have been locked up at home. So
certainly,
thank you for joining me. Let's kind of kick off with where you went to school and any of the degrees that you received.
Yeah, absolutely. So to kick it off here, I went to Midland University to complete my undergrad. Midland is located in Fremont, Nebraska, about population 30,000, so kind of small. It's about 30 miles west of Omaha, so definitely not in the middle of nowhere, like some of my friends kind of anticipated.
You hear Nebraska, you're like, where the hell is...
Yeah. So no, definitely in a fantastic area. I graduated from Midland 2016, completed my bachelor's in psychology, and then I went ahead and made the transition, doubled down on my education. And last summer, June of 2019, I completed my graduate degree online through Southern New Hampshire University. They offer sports management programs. So I went ahead and completed my MS in that also while balancing a full-time job. So
nice.
Definitely a grind, but I'm certainly glad I did it. I guess I'm a little ahead of the curve since I know a lot of my colleagues are going back to get their masters now.
Now it's like a hotbed, man. These colleges are really making out. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's great. So what was it? And at what point did you decide you wanted to work in sports?
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. I guess if you really want to go back in time, I never forget the first time as a 6-year-old being introduced to ESPN and Sports Center, and there's a network that plays highlights all day. I was kind of a sports nerd at a very young age, so right away that was the light bulb moment. And obviously going throughout my childhood, and I was big on reading the USA Today Sports Weekly. I couldn't wait week to week. That was kind of my parents' dangling the carrot to get my homework done so I can get the off-season issue or the trade deadline for all the major sports. So definitely there was a high passion at a very young age, and I had the opportunity. I was a multi-sport athlete up until the middle of high school, played baseball and bowling, and kind of realized, I was starting to sit on the bench for baseball and, kind of had some funky shoulder, tendencies going on. It was probably because of the bowling too, but bowling definitely had the brighter future. And I'm like, you got to double down on this. And my mom works in the bowling industry as a youth director. So I was a bowling alley rat. I had, access to practice all the time. So that was obviously that passion for bowling. And I knew in some capacity, I wanted to be involved in sports, not just because of the fandom and nerdiness of being in sports, but also the opportunity to help others and provide value on put myself, not myself first, but putting others before myself, like my mom has. She's been an incredible role model. And so I wanted to emulate that for sure. And I felt sports was that avenue to where I could fulfill that.
Nice. So how long did you end up bowling for? Are you still pretty active bowling?
Yeah, I am. I'm these days, I bowl league once a week. I do a double header Wednesday night. So I kind of just knock it out and get my fix. And so that's kind of my week of practice. And I'll be a weekend warrior. Definitely nowhere near the competitive level when I was in college, certainly. And I had a higher aspiration for wanting to dabble my feet with bowling on the professional tour. And then you come to realize those guys strike a lot. They strike a ton. And it's certainly, you cannot compare the arena of bowling, the PBA level compared to league. It's complete polar. So it's much respect, and there's times where, you walk out like, man, I bowled good. It's not a matter of, like I can't compete, but those guys they don't miss. They do not miss. And I know
as long as I get 100, I'm happy. If I get under 100, I'm pissed.
Man, it's good. I'm having a lot more fun now. And I kind of took a break for a year to focus on my career in sports, because certainly there's a lot of time that needs to be vested. Time does equal money, and there's a lot of things going on being a part of organization. So now I'm kind of working my way back in with luckily here in Nebraska, bowling centers are open. So I've been able to bowl league, which has been a nice blessing to get out of the apartment.
Yeah. Get out and do something you enjoy.
Yeah. 100%.
Let's go through your career, after college or even during, if you had internships. So talk about internships and any positions that you've held up till now.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. Certainly I was not an early bird in regards to getting into the industry. So with my passion, or I should say it was more of an interest, and I'll get into that deeper. With psychology, I was introduced by a couple bowling coaches during my tenure in high school. The first book I ever read, it was Mind Gym by Gary Mack, which is still an incredible read. I'd recommend for anybody. And I was like, wow, this is actually fascinating as far as the exercises and the thought processes and even the diaphragmatic breathing. And I was seeing results. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'd love to, be involved in this field and be able to work with other athletes. And so I went ahead and, pursued psychology. They didn't offer anything specifically in sports psychology like I envisioned, but I said, what the heck, let's go for it. And I come to realize, I'm like, wow, this is a lot, it's certainly difficult, especially in regards to the statistical avenue. And certainly I would call the above average grades, not poor, but definitely not putting myself in a position for postgraduate opportunities. And so I graduated in 2016, as aforementioned, and I was in no man's land. Like, well, I got to find work. So I, didn't have anything lined up, which I put that on me. So lo and behold, I took a job in retail out of college, working for Hobby Lobby, which not the crafty guy by any stretch of the imagination. And I got myself into having to understand product knowledge of something I have no clue. I was given a full-time position to work in art, and I'm certainly not a artistic individual by any stretch. So it was definitely, I'd call it a culture shock, but ultimately from that experience, and this is where I kind of gauged the possibility of working in sales, where I gained confidence of taking orders over the phone and helping customers one-on-one. And I'm like, wow, I'm actually selling products that I don't have a clue about. And that was a lot through just research and listening to customers, because they have a pretty good idea coming into the store what they want, what they're looking for, and you hear their reviews. And I didn't want to work in craft retail forever. So that's when I made the position to go ahead and, let's look into sports management and getting into a front office role in sports. Comfortability over the phone. I like talking to people. I love sports. I felt like that was the mesh. And right around the end of, or I should say early 2019, I needed an internship to complete my graduate program. I did my capstone, which was fantastic. And I earned an internship with the Lincoln Saltdogs baseball club. They're an independent franchise, part of the American Association. And that was fantastic. That enlightened me, first of all. There were certainly days where I'd come into the box office at 8:30. It'd be 8:30 to 4, and not getting paid for those hours. And then we'd have a game that evening. So it'd be an easy 12 and a half hour day, and having to get all the, promotions in check and get the inflatables and the fast pitch and having to do the 6-inning drag. It's certainly crazy, but I loved it. I wake up and I'm like, I want to do it again. So that was the moment. That was the light bulb where, okay, there's no case of the Mondays. So that was a 4-month internship. It was a great experience. We're still in contact with those interns. I was certainly the elder statesman. I'll admit I was 26 hanging out with, or I should say working with 19, 20-year-olds, but we had a great chemistry. It was an awesome time. And that internship led to an opportunity late in November 2019. Got an interview with the Reno Aces Baseball Club, the official AAA affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks, to be part of their sales academy program, which is essentially more of an inside sales role, but kind of get the knickknacks and getting a lot of high repetition phone calls. And that's certainly important, because you come to realize with single game buyers that it's a tough sell, but you learn a lot about, how tough you are, and you're going to get told no a lot. It's part of the game, man. But it's ironic how many of those phone calls where you're told no, and then the next person you call on your pipeline, you sold 4 seats. And that was a nice rush. It was almost like it's the closest avenue I feel in regards to competition, like during my bowling days, in regards to that sales realm. And I figured, what the heck, man, let's go for it. Let's dream big, follow your compass. And unfortunately, because of COVID, minor league season got canceled. And now I'm just hanging out, living the free agent life, and just waiting for the next opportunity and staying sharp.
So what's the ideal role that you're looking for now?
Ideally, prior to my furlough, I earned the promotion to account executive, and I really enjoyed taking on doing hospitality and premium seating, making those business calls. I felt a tremendous amount of confidence and momentum with setting the meetings. I certainly love to have the face-to-face rather than over the phone. And you come to realize you don't have to feel the angst and the pressure of having to sell right over the phone. Like, let's get the meeting, let's do the tour. I'll come to you, you come to me. That's certainly the avenue I would like to embark upon next, being a part of that sponsorship group realm for an organization at any sports level, whether it be baseball, football. Heck, I've seen a lot of lacrosse. There's an upcoming momentum for lacrosse too. So yeah, that's certainly the sector I'm feeling the most confident in.
Open to relocation, or are you looking for something in Oklahoma or Nebraska area?
I'm open to relocation. It'll definitely take the vote of the girlfriend, though, as I come to realize.
The
boss. Have that balance. But she's looking forward to it too. She's lived in Nebraska all her life, and I grew up in the Bay Area, so I'm certainly accustomed to taking that leap forward and taking a chance. So yeah, absolutely, relocation is not out of the realm.
What would you say is the biggest asset that you'll bring to a new position?
I love that. I would say to narrow it down, to know you're a busy man, I'd say hustle and heart. I'm very passionate about what I'm doing. I like to, I want to be an asset for the organization and become a leader. Certainly a learner, and I'm very curious. And there's no days off. Certainly, like I said before, your time is money, especially in sports. And there's a lot of long hours, but I love what I'm doing. And so that's kind of how I'd summarize hustle and heart for sure. There's never a sense of know-it-all. I think it's in perpetuity is a great term. It's never ending. You want to keep climbing up the ladder, but there's never a top of that ladder, or climb. Maybe some like to climb the mountain. A lot of my friends are hiking, so maybe that's a better analogy. Yeah, but it just always just keep growing, and you look at those checkpoints and take a look back and see how much you've grown. That for me, that process is what I say is my skill set.
What would you say is the biggest area you need to improve on?
Man, I love that. I think right now, and I'm starting to kind of dabble with doing more digital content. You certainly have to stand out in this climate more than just a cover letter, more than a resume. That's why I'm on your show today to, get some more exposure, certainly. And I love diving into podcasts, like, putting yourself out there, for how curious I am. I would say creativity. It's not a weak strength, but it's not my greatest. So I think that is the avenue where I need to put a lot of my time here for the rest of 2020 and going forward. It was nice working for the Aces because you have that floor. So it's not about me. It's about the brand showing who I am and what we're about. So I'm sure certainly that'll help, but there's no excuses that, I got to find a way I got to get back into the realm. So I got to show my value and challenge my creativity. So that's my next endeavor.
It's always good to push yourself and make yourself uncomfortable. And that's where you're going to see the biggest growth personally. So make yourself uncomfortable. That's what I do with this podcast. It's not my thing. I'm not good at it, but like, you know what? It pushes me, and I think it's helped me in a lot of other areas. So definitely push yourself, be uncomfortable. How would you define success?
Success, I look at success in terms of growth. Certainly the ideology of people over profits, I think is huge, because I think if you serve value to your consumer, to your people, the profits are going to come. You don't have to worry about sales numbers. And that's kind of right when I was in that sales academy role, you have all these goals you're presented and you need to hit. And it's so easy to be focused on the numbers and the quantitative data. But at the end of the day, you get, just serving people, doing the handwritten notes or the emails, like getting the thank you cards back in return, or someone approaching you in regards to, we had a great time. The kids loved the bobbleheads, and just finding, once again, that creative avenue to have your consumer, they're walking out of your facility in a better mood than they walked in. Obviously you can't make everybody happy. It's not possible. But I think that mindset in general, if you really believe in that, especially from a cultural standpoint, will take you a long way.
How about a fun personal fact about yourself?
I could dive into the bowling, but once again, that'll probably take an hour, and that gets way too analytical and nerdy. But I get a lot of flack from my parents and friends that I should have gotten to broadcasting, since I'm certainly quite the chatterbox, and with my bowling, you know, quite often when within my circle of friends, we all bowl league on Wednesday. And when somebody has, you know, the first 9 strikes in a row going for a perfect game, bam, getting that phone out and Facebook Live, and it's like a switch goes off, you know, and I turn into, you know, like who just retired? Was it Mike Emmerich for the NHL? Yeah, you just go into that just, it's humorous, but it's awesome because it's so authentic. It's not planned, it's unscripted, you know, and just
You just do play by play.
Yeah, just literally a play by play of the 10th frame. Yeah, certainly a skill. Obviously, with the bowling too. I guess I know. Shoot, these days I've been spending too much time inside. You know, I'm obviously become a big bookworm, and maybe I should get in the podcast game at some point because you're doing a terrific job leading by example. So maybe that should be a unique skill about me. I just need to develop a clientele to bring on. That's the.
Yeah, you know what? You got people. You know, there's people out there. The thing is, there is an audience for just about everything. So
yeah,
I mean, it really is. So I encourage people to. I think it's good. It's a good way to, you know, stay active, do something different. I've been able to. I think probably one of the best things that I've gotten out of all this is all the great people I've been able to connect with. You know, so
yeah.
I'm about 100 on Free Agent Fridays. I've got like 45 regular episodes. So, I mean, that's a lot of people in the last 3 or 4 months that I've been able to connect with. And I've stayed in touch with a lot of them and, you know, communicated, text, email. So I think it's a great thing, but I'm excited to kind of watch you get back out there. I know teams are starting to slowly, you know, start looking at next year. So, you know, in sales, I mean, they need some time to ramp up and, you know, there's going to be some opportunities. So hang in there. And it was great having you, Blake.
Andrew, man, I appreciate it. Your work's awesome. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And we'll certainly keep in touch. I'll let you know if there's any momentum on a podcast. I need to think of a creative name first.
Yeah. You can get creative like I did. The Andrew Haines Show.
Yeah, I like the artwork too.
I said, can you just take my picture and make me look better as a cartoon? So it worked. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.